Sri Lankan resistance, rain wiping out the final hour, Sonal Dinusha unbeaten at stumps. Was it day three? Was it day four? It was identical, but through the middle, India have inched closer to a 2-0 series lead, despite another day of good Sri Lankan batting, especially from one of their newest faces. 229 for 6 is where Sri Lanka are, a lead of 16, 4 wickets left for them going into the final day at Colombo. We welcome Cheteshwar Pujara back on Cricinfo Matchday. Puji, this one does go to day 5. And while there are enough pieces to unpack, let me start with the pressing question of the day,
Yeah,
enforcing the follow on. India are likely to win this, but was it the right call?
I still feel it wasn't the right call, but I'm sure they would have spoken to the ground staff. They would have seen what's coming around. If there was some rain around, the main reason of enforcing the follow on was because of the rain. But if you look at it from a cricketing perspective, if there wasn't any rain around, I'm sure they wouldn't have opted to carry on bowling. I think India would have preferred to bat. And even if you look at the kind of problem India had in the second session, it showed that when there was a resilience, when Sri Lankan batters counter-attacked, there was a bit of an issue. There was a concern that could India have batted, but because eventually India picked up wickets, and that's the reason that call is not wrong at this stage. And also, there was some rain, and I think the major factor was rain to enforce the follow-on.
But the argument that is used against the follow on, especially when the opposition team has batted a considerable period, which in this case it was, with Sri Lanka having batted 80 overs on day 3, is the fatigue for your bowlers. Do you think that was at play the most in that second session? Because the first 20, 21 overs of the second session, Pasindu and Kamindu were going at nearly 5 per over.
Yeah, and bowlers, you could see it even from the body language. The bowlers were tired, and rightly so. In that kind of weather, it's never easy. There were only five bowlers there, and sometimes when you say that there are just five bowlers, because in a test squad, you need to have five bowlers, and you always have a part timer. But in this Indian team, you don't have a part timer, so you don't have the six bowling option, and that's why I feel that the load on those five bowlers it was too much, and you could see it in the second session where Pasindu and Kamindu both were having that fantastic partnership. That's where I think Indian bowlers were under the pump. They were struggling a bit. They didn't know what could have been the right strategy during that period, and that's why I felt that yeah, I mean, not enforcing the follow on could have been slightly better option, but there was rain around, so you can't blame the team management or the captain to enforce the follow on.
Now, there is praise to be handed out to Pasindu and Kamindu, but before we go to that, what did you make of the captaincy and the tactics through that trying period where Sri Lanka were clawing their way back in the game? And it did look like for 20, 30 overs that India didn't have too many answers.
Yeah, I do agree. Because if you look at the session between lunch and tea, Shubman was tested as a captain. He went defensive too early, and that's where I think he will have to learn going forward. Uh, when you are in a situation when the opposition plays something out of the box, they counter attacked. The Indian team wasn't ready for it. They were little shocked that Sri Lanka could do that. And that's where I think you need to show a little more courage, try and still encourage your bowlers to pick up wickets rather than go too defensive. Because in a test format, if there's a partnership which is building, you try and break that partnership, and you can't do that just by going too defensive. Because India had to win that game. If Sri Lanka had changed their strategy in between, rather than just being too attacking, and if they went little defensive in that situation, then things wouldn't have been in India's favor. Because if you look at the kind of shot Pasindu played, it wasn't needed at that stage because they were going really well. They were comfortable. So that's where I think someone like Shubman Gill will have to learn that you always look for a wicket-taking opportunity. And against some quality sides, this strategy may not work. So I'm sure he will learn his lessons going forward.
Yeah, it's a day where you feel like if those Sri Lankan batters, especially the ones who were looking good, hadn't given it away, like you say, we might have
Yeah.
had the tone of questioning here might have been a little different, and this game might have been a little further away from India. Uh, On the bowlers in particular, do you think today would be a good, vital learning for someone like Manav Sutar? He's had two unstoppable test matches, but in this game, the first 10 overs he's bowled in the second innings, he was going at sixes.
Yeah, and credit to the Sri Lankan batters as well. As soon as he came into bowl, they counter-attacked. They didn't allow him to settle. They didn't allow him to bowl where he wanted to. And they played some fantastic shots. Also, they kept playing that slog sweep, especially Pasindu, against the spin, which is hard, which is a hard shot to execute. So Manav will learn when you are put under pressure. Uh, you need to find answers. And the good part was in Manav's spell was it wasn't just the start, but how he finished the day. He learned his lessons. He made some adjustment in his bowling. He went little fuller. He went little wider. Those were some good lessons which he learned in this particular innings, and especially between the first and I mean, there was a difference between how he bowled between lunch and tea and after tea. And I'm sure there was a role of team management, whether it was, I don't know whether it was Gauti Bhai or Moni Mokal, but someone had spoken to him that you might need to make some changes, and not just to Manav Sudhar, but even as a unit. I think Indian team looked completely different when they came out after tea.
Yeah, those they ended up bowling 16 and a half overs after tea, took three wickets and gave only 30 runs. So that's where some of that initiative that Sri Lanka were taking has been wrested back. I have a final question on the Indian bowling, and this is around the other two spinners. Because I asked you during the last test match about Ravindra Jadeja's overstepping. Seems to have found company because Jadeja and Saransh Jain between them have 10 no balls in this test match, Puji.
Yeah, and that's a lot. By a spinner, I think I still feel that they need to work on it. And someone like Ravindra Jadeja, who might have picked up so many wickets when he's bowling that no ball. So that needs to change. The onus is on the support staff, the spin bowling coach, Saraj Bautule, who is already there. I'm sure he will be having a word with Ravindra Jadeja, because someone who has played so many test matches and being a spinner, you need to find a way not to overstep. And Sharan Jain, I'm a little surprised because he has played enough first class cricket. I don't think he should be bowling too many no balls. I mean, occasional one can always understand, but five no balls in your first game, I think that's a lot.
So let's look ahead to day five. And it's going to be a fitting final day for this series because effectively Sonal Dinusha stands between India and victory, which has been the theme throughout this series. All four innings he's batted. There's 7 overs left to the new ball. You think that is where the game is decided?
Well, I think it'll be a tough task for Sonal and all the batters. Keshra is batting well. He's giving him that stance, but I still feel it won't be easy for the Sri Lankan batters to bail them out of this defeat. I still feel Indian team has the best chance at this stage. The bowlers will come back fresh tomorrow, and it's just four wickets to pick. They are just leading by 16 runs. So it's not a lot. I still feel if they have to get a game out of it, or even if they are looking at taking the game towards draw, they will have to bat at least for a couple of sessions, which is I feel it will be almost impossible, because Indian bowlers will try their best, and they don't want to. I mean, when you are in a position, commanding position like Indian team is in at this stage, you want to finish the game as early as possible. And when you are in this situation, you try your best. You try your best when the session starts. And all the bowlers, although they will be fatigued, but they will be looking to pick wickets when they come out tomorrow.
All right. So give us a final prediction. How many overs do you see this lasting? The new ball is 7 overs away.
I think maximum an hour. So I'm going between 15 to 20 overs at the max. Sri Lanka can bat tomorrow, and then India should be able to chase it down in next another, say, 10-15 overs, depending on how many runs Sri Lanka gets.
All right. Let's see how long it lasts on the final day, and we will look forward to your company. Thank you so much, Cheteshwar Pujara.